noticed a change in Jaron's demeanor, command, anything since giving him since and telling him that he was the number one?
Not really, other than the fact I think he's trying to be a little bit more vocal with his teammates, and I'm sure he's maybe doing some things behind the scenes a little bit, but certainly, ever since I've been here, Jaron's been a guy that's been very diligent in his preparation and been very good at meetings and everything, and certainly that's carried on. He's done a really nice job of trying to engulf himself in the game plan and basically just improve every day. He's a very young player, and he's going to just continue to improve, and I got to coach him every play, every day, every rep, on everything, just because he's young, and there's a lot of first times for him, but he's had a really good mindset, really good focus to him, and he's working very hard. Yes.
Is there a way that you can help keep Jaron calmer, or that's impossible for his first big game, and especially in that atmosphere? What do you tell him? What's your suggestion?
My thing with all quarterbacks is, whether it's their first start or their 30th start, is the really good ones have a way to maintain their focus regardless of the surroundings, regardless of the atmosphere. Your preparation throughout the week, we need to really focus on that. And then when we get to the game, we just got to focus on doing our job one play at a time. And that's, I know it's cliche-ish, but if you let your mind wander to the crowd, the fans, the music, whatever these things are, you're going to not be focused on your job. And even as a coach, we have to do that as well, and we have to really, really train. You have to train yourself to, and these are things that I've talked to these guys from the spring to the summer. Every time we've had a scrimmage, every time we've had to move the ball period, every time there's a distraction at practice of some sort, I tell these guys all the time, when you get in a game, you're not going to be able to just flip the switch and focus. You have to train yourself how to do it. So what my message to Jaron is, one play at a time. First and foremost, understand where are my feet supposed to be, what are my feet are supposed to do, what type of ball fake, what type of drop, who's my movement key, who's my conflict player on an RPO, where are my eyes supposed to be, all these little details. If he has to engulf himself with those details, and if he doesn't do that, then there will be distractions and there will be issues. But again, I'm not just saying it just for Jaron, but it's every guy that I've ever coached. From having Tua last year, he started his first college game last year. So the year before that, I had a kid at Cole Kelly because we had injuries at Arkansas. He had to make his first college start, and then Austin Allen before that had to make his first. It's just they got to go through it, but they've really got to try to train their eyes and train their feet, train their mind to focus on one thing at a time. But certainly he is going to be juiced up. He's going to be amped up, whatever word you want to put on it. His sense of urgency is going to be very high, And but I think through preparation and hopefully through us communicating about it, we can help him. And certainly the best way to help Jaron Williams is going to be that the rest of our offense plays well and they do their jobs, and we protect, we run the ball, we get in the right spots at receiver and tight end, so that helps him make his job a little easier that night.
Since Jaron was named a starter, how much have you let your imagination kind of run free on different ways you can devise to have Tate Martell be a factor in the game?
Well, I mean, that's really every guy on our offense. We're always constantly looking for ways to improve and find playmakers. So if certainly Tate right now is in a battle with Nkosi to be the backup, and if there's ways Nkosi and Tate can help our football team going forward, we'll certainly investigate those avenues.
It's always easier when things are going well. How do you prepare someone making his first start, has been in the situation, for when adversity hits?
Again, it's training quarterbacks is emotional and mental. The emotional side of things, handling success, handling adversities, things that we talk about. It's situations we try to create in practice. And I mean, we don't try to create adverse situations in practice; they just happen. But we put them in situations where we go move the ball periods against the defense. We have scrimmages. We have there's times during the practice where we go against very good people, and we might miss a couple in a row, we might throw an interception. We talk about immediately how do we respond to this adversity? How do we respond to a bad play? We call it the bounce back. You know, we got to bounce back from a bad play, bounce back from a bad series. Hopefully we never have a bad game, but we might. I mean, that happens. A lot of guys do bounce back from a bad game. How are you going to respond? How are you going to bounce back? How are you going to handle it? And certainly we'll try to support him. And again, like of all of our players, because there will be adversity for everyone, but I think how we handle and respond to it is going to be a lot of it how Jaren responds to it. But you know, I tell these guys all the time is that if you prepare the very best you can, you walk into the stadium Saturday night, and you know you've put in the work throughout the week to prepare yourself to play, mentally, physically, and emotionally, and then during the game, if you try your very best. I said there's nothing to worry about. There is no anxiety, there's no fear, there's no worry. You just do the very best you can. And you know what? The outcome will be the outcome, and we won't worry about the outcome, and we'll just play one play at a time. And no matter what you do, you can be very, very proud of yourself and your performance. And that's been my philosophy throughout coaching. And that's the philosophy that I've had with these quarterbacks. And I've told the whole offense that many times, but I've told those quarterbacks that quite a bit. So, hey, let's just prepare during the week the best we can. And let's go out Saturday night and put our best foot forward and give it and do the very best we can. And then whatever outcome happens, I think we'll all be very, very happy with it. Yes.
Coach, you just mentioned the emotional aspect to it, especially with Jaren. Will you be up in the booth calling, or will you be on the sideline calling the plays just to be down there with him to help kind of guide him, you know, person to person through the game?
Yeah, I'll be on the field.
Yeah.
Yep, and I've always been on the field. And that's one of the reasons why I like to be on the field is to have eye-to-eye, face-to-face communication with the quarterbacks. It kind of eliminates the middleman. It kind of helps me kind of get a feel for where they are emotionally, mentally, from that standpoint. But also, I like to have direct, quick, immediate communication with them. Sometimes even in between plays, there's verbals or things we can do to one another to maybe, hey, you missed that, or hey, good job, you did that, or hey, next time, look at that. And then obviously in between series, I always like being on the bench with them down there, just to kind of go through the plays, go through what's coming up, being able to coach them on things that we're seeing throughout the course of the game, and you know, maybe little different things we're seeing from a defensive standpoint that we haven't seen or didn't expect as much, and just try to communicate with those guys that way.
Coach, your offensive tackles are both going to be freshmen also that are making their first starts. I guess, have you ever been in that situation before in your career? And just both those guys, what have you seen from them during camp that has you confident that they can do the job?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. I can't answer that first question right off the bat. I know I've had freshman linemen start before, but I don't know. I don't know about that. But those guys are good players, and just like Jaren. These guys they're going to play very hard. Coach Barry is doing a tremendous job of preparing those guys, you know, and those guys they're going to play well this week, and then they're going to continue to improve throughout the season. We have bye weeks that are going to be really, really beneficial, I think, for our football team this year, that we can continue to work fundamentals and techniques. But we're excited about those tackles. We're excited about the offensive line in general. And again, we're going to be a team. We're very, very young offensively. We get that, but we're going to be a team, I think, that's going to be hungry, that's going to play with great effort and toughness, and that hopefully we're going to see a team that's just going to continue to get better and better and better as the season goes on. So they got to get their first start sometime, someplace, somewhere. So you know, we're expecting those guys to again battle Saturday night and play very well.
There's a lot of newness, obviously, here, but does it help when you're going into an opening week, having some familiarity across the field? You guys know a lot of their coaches. You've faced them before. You faced the Florida DC before. Does that kind of help a little bit, kind of knowing what they're doing, or does it not matter at this point?
I don't know if it matters at this point. You know, they've got new personnel. We've got new personnel. They've got new probably wrinkles they're doing. We have new wrinkles we're doing. So I think that stuff gets a little bit overrated at this particular point. I have a lot of respect for, obviously, their coaching staff, and I think they do a tremendous job, and they'll have their team, you know, very, very prepared. And you know what? I like our coaching staff too, and I think our team's going to be very prepared as well. Thank you.